Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. This is my second video on this channel doing Gundam TCG content. So this video we are going against CB versus Blue White Freedom Epyon. Now the person we're playing is our buddy Dynames, who is the owners of these two awesome looking mats, and I'm actually using obviously just joking around, showing I have LR Dynames to match the Dynames play mat. So this is our first real interaction with a meta style deck with a Blue White Freedom Epyon, and kind of seeing how it works against, blockers and more towards the end game. Now, obviously, this is all pre GD03, and we will be having 3 boxes show up, and we will do an unboxing for it. So here we ended up winning our roll, and I'm deciding what to do. I know I'd rather take second on a freedom build, like a freedom blocker build, but I decided to go first because I wanted to put myself in a disadvantage. I know when we go to locals that a lot of times people are probably going to want to go second most of the time. So for me specifically, I wanted to try going first to see how my hands can be. And as you see my hand, I have Wing Zero, I have a couple pilots, I have the armed intervention. This is not a hand I want to do, so we're going to go ahead and mulligan into a new hand and try this hand instead. So going back, this is all pre-GD03. So there is no Transams, there is no of those cards inside here. We will be changing our deck around when GD03 drops and trying to get our hands on all of those CB cards. Now with this deck, I will leave the deck list towards the end. This is specifically running Wing Zero and Zaku 2 to be more to the early on, having that 2-1, but also having a big boss at the end on turn 8 to do some destruction. So we're going ahead and lay out our shields. And again, like I said, this is our first hour of playing. I cut up the videos, and we are just cutting them up and putting them in the on YouTube. So on turn 1, I do not have, unfortunately, Tactical Visionary, so that sucks for me. I don't have that right now, which is one of the downsides of CBs. When it comes to early on, you want to make sure you get either Tactical Visionary, you want to make sure you get your 2-1 that will be coming out in our next set, because you're going to see here on turn 2, I do not have anything on turn 2 drop at all. So I don't have my Zaku 2, which will be changed out for Zero Gundam, the 2-1. I don't have that right now, so we have to go ahead and pass. So on his turn, he drops a Gundam Lift Rift. Now on turn 3, a lot of my cards are live, and I'm trying to decide what I want to do. Put a little bit of pressure on him. I go ahead and drop a Gundam Creels, the 3-2 cost. When he has a pilot, he gets 2. When there's a CB pilot on the field, he gets +2 AP. I linked Alleluia to him. Now he's a 5/4 on the field. He's deciding if he wants to block it with Alleluia. It's pretty much like a Wu Fei. He won't take any damage from any level AP 3 or less. So anything AP 3 or less, which is really solid. It's not level restricted, but it is AP restricted. So this is really good against even the 4/3, I think is Launcher Strike Gundam. You can even not take damage when it comes to that as well. So on his turn, he goes ahead and drops Rick Diaz, and now it is my turn. Now I'm trying to decide what I want to do specifically on turn 4 here, and we go ahead and drop a Tactical Visionary to see what we can actually grab from here. Like I said, this is a blue-white freedom build where they're mostly just going to block their way until they start to get more to the high end. And at the high end is where you fight for your life. So we do need to apply a little bit of pressure as much as we can. I went ahead and grabbed the 5/3 Virtue, the normal Virtue. I personally like this Virtue because on turn 5, it is a 3 cost. On turn 5, that gives me a chance to drop possibly 2 bodies on turn 5, so it's really nice to have that. I go ahead and swing with Creos, and he decides to block, and I inform him that I won't take damage from that Rick Diaz. Did he want to keep doing that? And he says yes, he wanted to do that. So I go ahead and drop Dynames, normal Dynames, and we go ahead and decide to, let's now with a sideways Creos, let's drop a base on here just to help my hand a little bit, just to give me some more resources, because he's not going to attack for a very long time. And if he decides to attack, he has to now definitely attack my CB rested units. So here we can't really see his hand very well, but like I said, we are playing against a Epyon blue-white build, so we're going to see potentially Epyon. We're going to see Freedom. So I'm trying to figure out how to play against it. Now, I personally like playing Epyon. I personally have an Epyon build, but I just changed it because now we're going to get ready for GD02 matchups. He drops the base nail Argument to rest my Dynames. He puts Zex Marquise on there to be able to have 2 more HP left on his unit, and he then finishes off with Overflowing Affection just to get him some resources, and he drops the Zawart on here as well. So I do have my own blue-white Epyon build. It was more of a unicorn Epyon build, but now with GD03 coming out, we will be changing that up. But I'm really focusing on CB as my main deck to play. So we're trying to have matches. I'm trying to see what the interactions are with all sorts of decks. So you're going to see later, if you haven't already seen the red purple one matchup I had. Here's the blue-white one. We go ahead and drop Axia and Setsuna to go ahead and mill 2. If any of those are CBs, I get to draw 1. And here we milled a CB pilot, so that gives me the chance to get that +1. Sometimes with this milling of 2 only really has a chance to hit the commands. Even with the starter release event where you only play with a starter deck, there's times where I hit multiple commands and not get that +1. So it can happen. In this case, we were able to get it. I go ahead and smack and destroy base, and here I'm trying to decide if I want to destroy his blocker, because technically he's only a 4 attacker. And I decide to swing at the shield because with that base, he is forced, and I'm trying to force him to attack me. So I'm going to put a little bit of pressure on that shield instead. That base really helps keep a lot of those level 3s or lower from really attacking the base. Even if they swarm the field, with blockers and decide to hit with the blockers that have been on the field, they would have to go after my units. In this case, he'd go ahead and smack our Creos. He brings out Ale, and with Kara, and with that, he got rid of my Axia. Now, it puts a little bit of pressure on me because now I got to figure out what to do in this scenario. Have a unit that I need to get off the field as quick as I can, if I can. If not, he's going to destroy the base, and now I'm going to have to be dealing with a lot more blockers. So we're going to try to attack him as quick as we can to go ahead and do that. I don't remember what we were discussing in this scenario, but I'm trying to figure out if I want to go wide or do I want to go in and try to get rid of Kira as fast as possible. So let's see what we decide to do here. We go ahead and decide to go wide. We drop 2 virtues of the 5-3 with the 5-4 stat line. This again is a very strong beat stick on the field, and I personally like how the virtue is because it's really strong, and again because it's a 5-3, it would allow you on turn 5 to at least minimum be able to drop another 2-cost unit as well. So this was turn 6. We were able to drop both of them. Now I only run 2 currently in this deck, so I do have both of them on the field. And with this deck list, I only run 1 Tyria for right now, but that will be changing when GD03 does come out. So he goes ahead and bring out Grandpa Gundam with Amuro and rest one of my virtues. Now, what's really good about this is it is a 5 attacker. So if he decides to attack it, it will just be destroyed, and he will trade out. So in this case, he decided to attack that and swing with the Gundam at my base. But like I said, because Virtue is a 5-4, it makes it easy for me to get over Grandpa. Now he just drops a Gundam Lift Riff as well. Now he has a little bit of protection on there if he decides to, if I decide to attack him. So in this case, we go ahead and drop Dynames with Lock on Stratos, which is one of my favorite combos here because it allows me to, when I put lock on to Dynames, I'm able to actually get over it. So in this scenario, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do. And I decide to swing right for the blocker. Get the blocker going. With the blocker, I'll be able to heal. And I decide to actually swing at the shield. I want to apply a little bit of pressure onto him, on his shield in his life. So I decided to swing. If he would have blocked, I would have obviously repaired with Dynames. So that's why I decided to not put the die on it, because I pretty much, after hitting for 2, it gets destroyed. I will obviously repair for 2, which is a really cool effect. It happens immediately, which is probably why one of the reasons why I do like lock-on straddles and the Dynames specifically. So we're trying to figure out how many CBs we have in the grave, because we might be looking at either dropping a Axia or something of that sort to allow me to get some bonuses, because CBs are in the grave. All right, so it is his turn. He is trying to figure out where we're going. I'm trying to figure out where we're at with resources, because I know soon, if he has Epyon, we know that Epyon could be coming out. It looks like he forgot to grab a resource, so he went ahead and grabbed his resource. Now, we confirmed that we are now technically on turn 7, so this will be around range for Freedom if he decides to drop Freedom. In this case, he decides to drop an Ale, which again is annoying to deal with as well, and he's trying to figure out what he wants to do, turn his unit sideways or not. Now with this, his Ale is 4, and so is my Virtue. Now he decides to attack what I thought in my head was Dynames, but looking back on the camera, he decided to attack Virtue, it looks like. But I didn't clarify, so I wasn't sure. So in my mind, I thought he attacked Dynames, so I wanted him to attack Virtue, and I misplayed here using arm intervention, something that in my mind, I went to look back at this video and I'm like, did I do that? And I even asked, I thought you said Dynames to my buddy Dynames, and he said he doesn't remember as well. So that was a misplay. Looking at it on this view, definitely a misplay, being able to clarify who are you attacking, because my mind thought he said Dynames, but looking back on the video, it clearly looks like he hit Virtue, and I just used that card for no reason. Definitely misplayed, definitely a powerful card that I could have used later on, which you will see in the video as well. So let's continue to go with this. So with Tactical Visionary, accidentally dropped Tactical Visionary in my hand back up, and they were just joking around like, Judge, he's cheating, but we went ahead and dropped that into the grave and picked up my normal Axia. Again, I think if I had to choose, I'd rather have Virtue die, the normal Virtue die, than have my Dynames die. So went ahead and smack his shield. He decides to swing, and with that, he decide to pass. Drop our Axia normal with our Cessna to go ahead and swing in there, and he goes ahead and drops the Argama, gives him a card in hand. I decide to momentary respite and get my my pilot back into my hand. So we go ahead and do that. Now he's counting out his resources, see if he wants to drop something. Like I said, now we're this high end. This is when you drop freedoms, and this is when you also drop your Epyons. So he decides to drop both Ales in this scenario. And now it is my turn to go ahead and swing. I'm really thinking of what play to do, because here specifically there is a lot of pressure with having both Ales. Obviously, one of the Ales will take out and trade out for my Axia. So I was really trying to figure out what am I going to do. He's putting pressure now back onto me and having me make the decision. So we go ahead and drop Wing. I drop Wing just to have ping on them, on all of them, so that if anything later on does come out, they will be able to easily be taken out. If I had a 3-2 body out on the field, which I believe I have in my hand, a 3-2 body potentially. So I was trying to prepare myself if I needed to drop a small unit that it will take out the Ale because it's already hurt. Now, again, I didn't want to swing and give him the advantage of getting rid of one of my units because it doesn't have they don't have any ping in that specific deck. So I'm just going ahead and pass. But dropping that wing 0 now applies a little bit of pressure where they have to now get rid of wing. If they don't get rid of wing, I can high maneuver and just get into that base and shield area. So they go ahead and drop Freedom with Kira. Now, just asking just to confirm, can you choose what unit you're going to -2? Just so I know. I know he is not rested, but just so that we know all the ruling was happening. So he goes ahead and swings into the shield. The shield burst, and it gives me a wing 0. Now, there is no burst effect. It just obviously destroys one of my shield, and this happens to be wing 0. So now he passes, and it is now my turn. Now I got to figure out what to do. He's dropping big blockers now. And I do have the advantage of wing not being able to be blocked currently right now. So we need to try to utilize him as much as we can. Now, there will be a misplay definitely coming up where we do, which honestly would have changed the game if we decided to do something, if we would have changed a card. So we go ahead and swing with 0. And with that being said, I'm looking at the numbers. Now, I did this play thinking if he decides to swing with Freedom, I have enough to get over and he can't destroy my, my Epyon. I did the 1-1 Terria just to give me a 6-8 stat line so I can live through Freedom even if he decides to -2. But what I didn't realize is what I had in my hand was actually Setsuna. Setsuna would have actually been the better play, and this is where the misplay happened, because you're going to see what he decides to drop here. And with Setsuna in my wing instead of Arde, he drops Epyon here. With Arde is only a 1-1. He decides to swing and destroy my wing 0. Now, we didn't keep an eye on what the stat line is for Epyon when he's linked with his unit, but technically our buddy Tim was actually watching and actually just brought it to our attention that Epyon is technically still alive by 1 HP. Now, if I would have put Setsuna on there, that would have handled it. And even Dynames was just saying, hey, I think you did smart move. You put that pilot there because I can't get over it, or it'll be a suicide. And then our buddy Tim over here says, hey, wait, you actually will live by 1 HP. And I'm saying, really? Let me see, what is it? I said, you are, it's a 6 stat line. He says, well, actually, I'm 7. So technically, I still live by 1 HP. So that was the misplay. If I would have put Sesson on here, we would have traded the Epyon, and he would not have now all these advantages. Just something for my mind and my playstyle. I wanted to get rid of Arde, because Arde was actually more important. And I was just joking around with Tim like, oh man, why'd you say that, Tim? But you know, that is the right play. You are supposed to correct anything that happens. I'm glad he was there to watch. He swings for a shield and hits a fatal strike. I used that 1 damage ping to hit off and destroy one of his Ails. Like I said, if that wing 0 would have been paired with Sesuna instead of Arde, that Epyon would not be alive. And actually, the board will be a different state for sure. I don't know if we would have won still, but I definitely would have said that that would have definitely hurt my myself. And I think it would have been more in my favor potentially if I still had taken out his Epyon. So that's something to keep in mind. Just to, if you're going against Epyon, know how the Epyon stat line is, just in case, so that you're able to feel out that play coming, to have enough so that they are trading potentially. So I have in my hand right now, like I said, I already know I have Setsuna because that was the move I should have done after seeing this play. Like I said, I'm learning the game. I'm trying to understand interactions, seeing how CB feels against all different types of decks, both the rogue style decks that are like, you know, tier 3, tier 2, all the way to like tier 1 and 0. So we go ahead and decide to swing because we do need to apply pressure. And if we don't swing now, we're pretty much dead, which again, in this scenario, we are pretty much, we don't have enough to link ourselves with only, I think 3 cards in our hands. So we drop Zaku 2, and like you said, you see here I have Setsuna. And at this point, I'm just, just dropping my hand because there's nothing else that I can do, and allow him to swing, hit a base. Like I said, if we would have gotten rid of the Epyon, as you see here, we would have potentially stalled the game and won. So this was a really close match, even though, like I said, if I would have done that play instead with Setsuna, I would have potentially been defeated a Epyon deck. That's just something, again, we learn our lessons. We try to figure out better strat lines and figure out what we can do instead. But it was a really close match. We would have won. He shows the Gundam as a shield, and that is the end of the game. But it gives me a chance to learn how to play against an Epyon deck. So I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys in our next video. Peace.